All right, welcome everyone to today's survival science video. Today I'm going to show you a really simple and predictable way to tell direction. If you find that you're lost out in the wilderness or something and you don't have a compass on you and you need to get your bearings, I'm going to show you a really easy and predictable way to do that. So basically the concept is you want to just basically put a stick straight up out of the ground so that it casts a shadow. I'm going to stand this stick up using a couple of rocks because it's not a windy day. It shouldn't have any trouble standing up. I think a lot of people like to pound a stick into the ground. As far as I'm concerned, if you're in a survival situation, you don't want to expend that extra energy. Plus, pounding a stick into the ground introduces an opportunity for you to hurt yourself. So keep it simple, reserve your energy, put a stick straight up, facing up using some rocks. That's the way I like to do it. So the idea here is because the sun is so predictable, when you put this stick straight up out of the ground, it's going to cast a shadow. And what you want to do is essentially mark the end of that shadow with a rock or a stick or something. Then we're going to wait about 15 minutes and come back and take a look and see where the shadow has moved. It's important to note, the first marker that you set down is going to be west, and I'll explain how that works in a few minutes here. Okay, so now we can see that after about 20 minutes that shadow is moved. So what we want to do is place a new marker at the end of the shadow. And then essentially what that's going to do is that's going to give us our east-west coordinate. Remember that the first rock we set is the west. The second one is the east. So all we have to do at this point is lay down a stick next to these rocks. And what this is going to do is give us our east-west. From here, we can easily determine north and south. So here's another quick tip that I will share. If you are lost and you're having to resort to doing this exercise to get your bearings, here's something that I would recommend. If you know which direction you need to travel, try to look ahead in that direction and find a point of reference or a landmark that you can shoot for. That way, if you stay focused on that landmark, you know that you're still heading in the direction that you want to travel. Sometimes this can be helpful because then if you start walking along and you're afraid maybe you've lost your bearing, you don't always want to have to stop and do this exercise all over again. So here's an example of this. So I'm facing due south right now. So if I knew my direction of travel needed to be to the south, I can see that there's a ridge line right up ahead of me that looks to roughly run east to west. So I know that if I shoot for that ridge line, I am going to be continuing pretty much south. So this quick video is the first in my series I'm calling Survival Science. This is going to be a whole series of videos that will teach you things you need to know based on science to survive in the wilderness or any other type of survival situation. Appreciate you guys watching today. Everybody take care out there.